Gigi Variety reading FoodWISE tonight, and I am continuing with my section entitled Food Choices, Experience, Quality, and Beliefs. In part 2 of FoodWISE, our personal world of food. So I continue on from the story that I was telling about olive oil and my students in sensory science experiments at the University of Florence. What is a good olive oil? Okay, but does it matter? If we're happy with the cheap substitute, who cares if we never know the difference? Well, those blander rancid oils might work in a salad, but they certainly won't benefit a rich tomato sauce, one that calls for an oil that you can feel in the back of your throat, even as the tomatoes seductively sweeten the effect. In the case of oils, we're losing out on nutrients as well as taste. For one thing, fresh oil contains a lot of valuable compounds that old oil doesn't. For another, what happens when we eat that inferior tomato sauce? We may not know exactly what's wrong with it, but we will know it's not satisfying. So we add some more salt, cheese, sugar, artificial something to that pasta, further drowning the delicate purity of one simple dish. I'm all for the affordable price of store brand olive oil, but let's also have the quality. Quality for me is about flavor, smells, textures of whole food dishes. Adequate access to food should imply access to high quality food, especially if the price point is acceptable. Parentheses, price point is a handy marketing term for the intersection of price and quality considerations, a perfect concept for our study of food. But that's just it. How do you balance price with quality? This is a key question asked by food sensory scientists. We'll be looking at their ideas about the importance of food quality later on. As we've seen with olive oil, though, even quality itself is hard to determine. If we're told enough times that a food is good, we start to believe it. And the memory of real good food, that early season olive oil, for example, fades away into oblivion or never was on our radar to begin with. Is cheap good? Is rancid good? Corporations concerned with profits are quick to answer yes, just buy it. The tool they use to convince us to make that choice is advertising. As you can imagine, the title of my next section. But we have been talking about confirmation bias in the sense of trying to investigate why we believe what we believe, why we continue to believe what we believe, even in the face of conflicting information or even information that refutes the position that we're taking. And we've talked about this in terms of confirmation bias. So in a sense, again, we're talking about who to believe and what do we believe, how do we believe what we believe. And I've included for tonight a newspaper store, a magazine article, really, it's the New Yorker, on colleges, on what it is that students want. Now, for sure, the bias is there in this New Yorker article. It's very cheery. It's a very sweet, cheery article saying this is what students want. Oh, I don't know if I agree with everything, but I've included it because you might. And I'm not sure most colleges are going to have a face-to-face experience in the fall, but this author is. And it does fit actually with what we were saying before about the need for a smaller group experience, whether online or not. But this author is advocating for not necessarily online. There are options. And what the author is saying is that Students themselves are so creative and inventive and willing, receptive, eager, if not insistent, on ways they can get together face to face in the fall in higher education.